May 26th, 1994. And why this date is a day that needs to be remembered by all gun owners in the United States. Hey guys, how's it going? Ammo shortage 2020. I've done several videos on it, and so have a lot of people, but today I'm going to offer you, I think, a unique perspective and a little bit of history about this current ammo shortage. Now, there's a lot that's happened in 2020. Worldwide pandemic, shortage of supplies, workforces being depleted, socially distant, and just the fact that people in the United States generally don't trust the government and know that police often can't protect them when there's imminent trouble or danger, and people are buying record amounts of ammo. But our problems that led to this ammo shortage didn't start in 2020. They actually started, in my opinion, back in 1994. And just a couple days ago, I purchased 4 boxes. This is new old stock, guys, brand new. I just bought this. And this is Chinese Norinco ammo. And no company sponsored this video. I bought it with my own money, and quite frankly, all I have is you. So there's links to help the channel down in the description, but most important, if you like my videos, tell your friends and share them on your social media. Thank you. And it actually wasn't a bad price. I bought it as collectible ammo, and mainly to do this video to talk about the history of what happened in 1994. But this was $25 a box, and I'll discuss the ammo in just a little bit. $25 for 50 cartridges, making it actually an okay price for modern ammo, but considering this is actually now collectible and basically a forgotten part of history for a lot of newer gun owners. So let's go back to 1994. And on May 26th, 94, President Bill Clinton sat at his desk, and using the powers of the president as the head of the executive branch, he signed an executive action. And this banned the importation of rifles, pistols, and ammunition from a famous company in China, China North Industries, otherwise known as Norinco. Norinco was China's largest military conglomerate, consisting of over 300 separate companies that were mainly in the defense and weapons contracting business. Now, by the time the early 90s had rolled around, they had switched over to many consumer goods, even making things like motorcycles and minivans, and also the SKS rifle. At that time, it would have been the Chinese Mac 90 AK clone rifle. And in 1993, they exported to the United States about 2 million rifles and untold millions of rounds of ammunition, including this 9mm, as well as a whole bunch of 7.62 by 39. Well, why did it get banned, and how does that impact the United States in this current ammo shortage today? Well, around 1994, there was a political climate in the United States underneath the Clinton administration to enact gun control. It was called the Crime Bill and the Assault Weapons Ban. Now, this particular ban against the Norinco products was signed in, I won't say law, but executive action, which still has the full force and effect of law for all intents and purposes, by the president. At that time, they were still debating and talking about this crime bill and assault weapons ban, so it hadn't gone into effect quite yet. And that, no doubt, by name would have banned things like the Mac 90s and stuff like that, but the ammunition was not going to get banned under that bill. That was President Clinton, and the reason he did it is the ATF had done an investigation and realized that the Chinese had shipped some items through that were not considered to be in compliance, and they had been investigating them. Well, things like the ability to accept a grenade launcher and the ability to be converted to full auto, a lot of these are just scare tactics and fear, because people can make full auto weapons on their own in their garage if they have the knowledge, and we all know that. Also, how many people really have grenades, but these were literally things that were cited at that time. Now, Clinton did this to supposedly punish China, although I would note much of the rest of his foreign policy encouraged free trade with China and actually let Chinese goods flood the United States market in many other aspects. So in my opinion, this was probably more about gun control than anything else, just like a lot of executive actions are. And he was able to do that without having to put the congressmen that were up for election in maybe borderline, districts. Didn't have to make them make some of these tough votes. So this ammunition was banned. Now keep in mind, the reason why, as I just said, in 1993 there were 2 million Chinese rifles imported into the United States is because they were generally pretty darn good quality. As was their ammunition, and they were also the cheapest. They were the cheapest by far. As we know from many Chinese goods that are in the United States today. Not necessarily on the quality, but certainly cheap. And qualities do vary. So we took one of the largest manufacturing superpowers in the world out of the equation. Bill Clinton did. On May 26th, 1994. And that's not a minor deal. That's actually a huge deal. Just think about this. If you were to walk into your Walmart store, or even your local hardware store, or your local gun shop, and all items from China were all of a sudden banned, gone, imagine what that would do. What if you went to your local department store and went to buy a toaster, but all the toasters from China were banned? What would a toaster cost? How many would be left on the shelf, and would there be any? Let's go into the gun world a little bit here. Look at optics. This is a UTG Leapers. The company's out of Livonia, Michigan, like right down the road from me, but this optic, like almost all of them, is indeed made in China. And many of these American optics companies, with few exceptions, USA company made in China. Look at some of the most famous flashlights that we buy. Also made in China, 99%, even some of the more famous name brands, with few exceptions, made in the USA. But look at what they cost when they're only made here, and look at how few options that you have. So keep in mind, this had already been gone at the time that this recent pandemic and shortage started, for a couple decades. In fact, about 26 years. Now, what complicates things is companies like Remington, one of the biggest ammunition and firearms manufacturers in the country. Very old company, dating back hundreds of years in the United States, filing bankruptcy and having their inventory sitting in warehouses pending courts and purchases and all these things. So this shows you how even stuff that's made in the United States by formerly reputable companies, that due to years of mismanagement, pending lawsuits, things like that, a lot of this was removed from the supply chain. So if you think about it, if this stuff was still available right now in the United States, if President Clinton had not signed that executive action, would we be in the ammo shortage we are? I don't think so. Because I would note that many items, other just consumer commodity type things that we buy all the time that we don't think about, those are readily coming in from China as we speak. Don't seem to be affected nearly as much by this sickness and all these shutdowns as a lot of things in the firearms world are. This raised the price of ammunition across the United States almost instantly, because at that time this was the cheapest ammo that there was, followed by the Russian ammo, which right now is still available. But keep in mind with imports are a funny thing, because presidents can use their powers to direct the Department of Commerce and the different various importing agencies, and they can very easily ban imports, as we saw President Obama and President Trump did with just strokes of a pen, with, in Obama's case, the Kalashnikov concern Sega AKs, and President Trump with the Molot Vepr rifles. So between those two presidents, no more Russian-made AK variants. And I would note the price of AK variants has gone up like crazy too, because Clinton had banned the ones from China, and Obama and Trump banned the ones from Russia. So Do I generally like buying stuff from China? No, of course not. But if we're realistic, we're buying stuff from China every day, whether we want to or not. And while I tend to try to buy American as much as I possibly can, and you guys know from watching the channel, I always support local companies. Even local companies like this, out of good old Livonia, Michigan, they're still getting their products made in China. Many and much of their products and companies like this. So, look at history, 1994. A lot of you nowadays that are just getting into firearms might not have even been alive in 94, and you might not even know this ammo exists. But I think this single-handedly, this ban from President Clinton has much to do with what we're facing today. And this ammo has become collectible. I'm into milsurps. I'm into Chi-Com stuff. I really like all the different variants, and I do like to, collect older ammo. So let's take a look at the ammo real quick. Seriously, I just bought this last week from a place called Clearview Investments Inc. It was $25 for 50 rounds, and we're going to do an unboxing of a time capsule that's been frozen in time for, in this case, almost 30 years. So kind of just a plain Jane cardboard box. China North Industries, Norinco, 9x19. So this is regular 9mm, Luger, Parabellum, whatever you want to call it. This is a full metal jacket, brass cased. I would note the cheap China stuff, brass cased, whereas the cheap Russian stuff, which is unfortunately only a signature away, guys. You have to look at history and look at the future. This is why when ammo prices are cheap, buy it. If you're just getting into guns, when it comes back down, buy it. One signature from this president or a future one. I'm not trying to repeat myself. I'm just letting you guys know I've been around a long time. In 1994, when all this crap was going on, I bought my first SKS, and that's what started my love for firearms. So, brass cased, non-corrosive. This is reloadable ammunition. And the HUD stamp on this, let me see if I can get in the right light, 9x19, 92. So, this was made in 1992, 28 years ago. New old stock, and it's literally been sitting here, frozen in time ever since. There you go. You can get that head stamp right there. Packaged in a nice styrofoam tray, which is nice. This stuff is cheap, guys. When I say cheap, I mean dirt cheap. I remember around this time period I was buying the Chinese 7.62x39 for like 6 cents a round. And I remember this being even a little cheaper than that. I want to say maybe $2 a box, give or take a little bit. And in around 1992 to 1994 era. Would it be $2 a box today? No, but if the market was flooded with this, it might make it where we still had ammo when great American companies like this were sitting there with their inventory squandered in warehouses and mired in bankruptcy. Steel case is great, and I like to shoot it. This is still the cheapest stuff there is, but the brass case, a little bit nicer, to be honest with you. And I found the old Chinese ammo to always be of high quality. Let me know down in the description, guys. I want to keep at least a couple of these boxes just to kind of collect, but I don't know. I might shoot a few rounds if a bunch of you would look forward to it. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy, though. I bought this literally because it's old collectible ammo, and I wanted to tell this history story. But at $25 a box, it's actually cheaper than a lot of the prices I'm hearing people pay for FMJ right now. So I was able to beat the ammo shortage 2020 just a little bit, guys, today. Got 200 rounds of 9mm for $100. But I just wanted to remind you guys of what happened when the President of the United States, President Clinton, signed that pen at his desk in the Oval Office, and why that's where we are today with many of our gun prices and many of our ammo prices and ammo situations. So when stuff gets back to normal, and this is really cheap, this was only about $6.39 a box in March of 2020. If it gets down to that price again and you think you're going to need some in the future, you might want to get you some, because again, all it takes is this could be gone forever. I'm not trying to jinx anything, I've just been around a long time. So there you guys go, some vintage new old stock 9mm. Alright, good luck out there, guys. I'm going to keep on letting you guys know of current deals that are going on. I actually have another ammo video I'm planning on doing in just the next couple days. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.